Hi everybody, this is Josh with Inktology. Welcome. And today's video is going to be a little bit different from my normal videos. It's going to be a review of 2025 and kind of what I want for 2026. This year was a doozy. And I did a lot of pieces. Well, actually not a lot. I didn't do that many. But I did learn a lot. And I kind of want to go through what I learned and the resources that I used, the books that I read, the documentaries, and everything that I had to pull to develop these drawings, as well as the techniques that I kind of were going for and other artists that I were pulling from to kind of learn their styles. But if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. That'd be cool. Thank you. As well as, sit back and relax. Grab a pen and paper if you want to draw with me while I explain all this, but it's gonna be fun. And I really appreciate you being here and watching the video already, but let's get into it, okay? So I have some drawings here. I'm gonna move these aside actually. We'll talk about the art later, and you can jump ahead to the marker. I'll leave the time code and stamp in the description so you can jump straight to talking about my art pieces. But before that, I want to talk about some things that helped me learn how to draw, okay? If you don't know, I came back to drawing about 2 to 3 years ago. I was a visual designer, so we're doing more graphic design kind of stuff for a couple years before that. And then before that, I was doing filmmaking for a good 15 years. And that took me across the globe and I learned a lot of different things. Now, when I came back to America, I wanted to pursue the Hollywood, hence me being here in LA and living near Hollywood before. Man, you know what? I missed art and artists. I miss the creatives of that world. Now, I love the creatives of filmmaking. They're amazing and they're so talented. I have a phenomenal friend of mine that I used to watch. I mean, his cinematography is just like, it's a breath of fresh air. And that's what I like about artists, though. I get more out of artists. And so I want to return to that community and group. And that's why I created a Discord and I created this channel. And, I want the rest of the other half of my life to be about art and creating. So a lot of this is a process of me relearning how to draw and figure out my style again. So if you're new to art, or if you're young, or maybe you're picking this up and maybe you're doing it for a long time and you just haven't figured out why you can't draw a certain way or as well as you thought, or whatever the case may be, I'm in the same boat a little bit. Now I do have a history of art because I grew up drawing since I was a little, beep. Little lad, but coming back into it with social media, I have a lot to look at. Everyone has new styles and new techniques, and the world has changed in the last 25 years since I've done art, So don't feel bad. I'm coming back at it too, and I'm learning and I'm growing. And a lot of the techniques that I've learned were actually exploring oil painting and acrylics and watercolor and even sculpting and some other techniques. But those were the things that actually helped me come back to art and look at it from a different view and say, oh, well, I can do different techniques this way, or I can apply a certain style that I like this way. And you can see that through my art. You see the different stuff in my art. I do digital, I do it all. But my ink for Inktology is coming into a place where I'm building the style again. And 2026 will hopefully be more of an understanding of my style. I hope to get there, but if not, we'll continue. It might be a whole life thing. Yeah. So don't feel bad. Grow with me too, and learn how to learn too. So let's get into the actual books that I have been utilizing. My line work is used to be more of a sketchy kind of Tar McFarlane meets David Finch kind of like line work. David Finch is much more clean, but I found another artist named Jay Lee. He's a comic book artist and I loved his. So I started adapting these guys' styles a little bit and practicing them and, kind of copying them, their actual drawings that they did in order to figure out how they were doing the brush strokes and where the lines were going and their cross-hatching techniques and all that. And this is a great way to learn. I found a book series called Vintage Graphic Resources. That's not the name. What's the name of this? Oh, The Vault. It's called Vault here. I'll just do it right here. So this is called the Editions Vault, right? And they create these little books where they have all these drawings of ink work, line work, and of all these different subjects. I mean, look how beautiful that is. That is absolutely gorgeous. That's the Greek and Roman sculpture for bugs. Oh my gosh. Who doesn't love to draw insects and creatures, you know? They're so much fun. And you can pull really good techniques of how they do this. I wish the artist's name was in this book, but you know, what can you do? So when I'm drawing, I'll pull into this and I'll start looking at these little design styles and I'll practice these. And that's a way that I learn. Like that texture right there, brilliant way to do translucent wings, stuff that I've never even seen some of these techniques. This one here is more of a black and then a pull away at the white, where this is more of like drawing lines. Oh, oh, oh. Beautiful, beautiful. Definitely, they have I think they have a subscription. I don't know if they have a subscription, but they are great. I think it's a couple that do these books. Really support them. I've got The Anatomy of Skeletons. This is really good if you want to learn anatomy for animals. Oh, this one. This is the Greek and Roman mythology one. Look at this. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit, though, because when you see my art pieces, which I'll show you later, they resemble a lot like this because I'm trying to portray kind of a fantastic way to represent a few ideas within an image. And this one has a lot more action in it. As you can see here, oh, I'm just showing a lot of stuff. There's an owl. So these all represent something, but she's not really doing anything. And then you have something like this on the side where this angel is flying around. I don't know if it's angel, Roman soldier. I don't know what that is. Okay, here's one on death and mortality. This is very cool because drawing skeletons and all the different ways that they can portray pages like this is really rad. Oh my gosh, I mean, death is a fantastic subject. Fear of death creates a lot of really cool art. Acceptance of one's fate also does as well. And throughout history, we see that. And the way we use death throughout art is just gorgeous. I mean, just look at this one here. Is this, it almost looks like a Bernie Wrightson style drawing. But you have this gigantic, who's the Grim Reaper up here with his sheath or scythe. I don't know. For some reason, when I said that word, Pokemon popped up in my head. And the horses. So I learned all the techniques, and I have been studying all the techniques from these different various books that I have purchased to study, and I highly recommend them. It's called Vault right here. Just go support them. Tell them that Inktology sent you, and go forward from there. Now, when it comes to techniques of actually drawing form and understanding, studying, you know, kind of how the posture will be in the form and proportions, Bridgeman's is probably going to be your best bet. I would just say it is because he goes through it, he writes about it. It's not hefty reading, it's very simple reading. I haven't even read half of this book. I go through the images and I kind of, you know, I get what he's going for. Trying to build the proportions. I love that he shows all the line works that he's doing to create the form and the exaggeration. He even uses this. This is kind of fun. Very interesting. Perspectives, construction of the head, molding of the head, lips, my arch enemy, lips, the neck. I love this book. This book has it all. You could just, what you could do is I recommend, grab this book. Doesn't matter which edition you get. The 5th edition is fine. Go through one chapter or one set of pages each day. Just wake up and go, you know what? Today I'm gonna have a coffee real quick, 15 minutes. It doesn't even take 15, it takes like 10 minutes to read through like 3 pages. Because all you need to do is go through a couple pages here, and you don't wanna go through it all. You don't wanna read a lot, actually. You wanna read as minimal as possible because you wanna digest what the techniques are actually saying. Like this one here, I would just spend a day on this and this, right? And just think about this. Spend all day just thinking about what you read, these 2 pages, because what's happening is the artists usually build their techniques off of experience and mistakes and things that other artists are doing. There's a lot of different factors that go into it. But if you just rush through it and read it, you're going to miss out on the practice of some of those smaller techniques that build to the better techniques. But that technique will be something you have to practice through, you know, developing those lines on women and on men, children, aliens, you know, and just practicing that form. But yes, okay, Bridgeman's Complete Guide. That's a book, get it. Now, for the recent history and the things, mythology that I've been drawing and teaching about, I want to address one thing. I do not know everything about the topic or these characters. I don't. And these scholars that do these big studies on these characters that I draw, like Odin or any kind of Greek mythology, Zeus and stuff like that, they are specialized in this, but even they themselves are still learning because archaeology is still growing and being explored and history is still being developed in the sense that we're understanding more of what these characters did and how they had cults or how they had effects on different cultures. I mean, Christianity alone pulls a lot from the Greek. And the Romans pull from the Greek. A lot pulls from the Greek, actually. And then there's a lot that pulls from Mesopotamia and ancient religions and mythologies in that area. So, you know, they're always growing and we're learning more and more because we're figuring out, oh, this is how it works. So I don't know everything. I wish I did, but I don't. So forgive me, if you would, if I say something out of place that you're like, Josh, Zeus didn't have that many kids. And I'm like, you're right. Story got tangled up. But please, if I did make a mistake, put it in the comments. Be like, hey, Josh, you messed up here at this time code, and put the correct, you know, mythology, fact, or whatever I may have messed up. I'm human. I am not a scholar in any form. I'm an artist. If that, I'm hardly an artist, okay? So, thank you guys. I really appreciate you. I know, yeah, I can be confusing sometimes, but I thank you for taking patience with me and forgiving me for my mistakes, but I do try. One of the books I pulled the other day, and Barnes & Noble has a really good sale selection, bargain selection, go there, or half-price books. This Runes Illustrated is something that's kind of fun to learn runes and what they mean and the kind of the magic they held and all these things. These little things, like studying this for my Norse characters and mythology, give me an extra insight of what to draw, right? And what kind of symbols I can put for the characters and what kind of themes I can put. Each one is kind of translated into a god, which is really cool. This is like extra material that you don't need to know, but it's fun to have and read and keep on with the drawing techniques. Now, I usually go for books that have a lot of archaeology / pictures in it. The reason why I want pictures is because I'm an artist. I need to pull some of those like outfits and jewelry and helmets and things like that from other artists that have created these things because they have built the structure of what the god should look like. If I went in there and just made Thor look like, you know, Dr. Seuss's The Cat in the Hat, then that'd just be very strange, right? It needs to have some resemblance that people understand who is who. And one of these books, this book is a great book. It has a lot of pictures. I pulled a lot of the Odin stuff from this, so you can actually go here and Finn D. Moore. He's got 3 stories I went through, so you practically just watch my video and you'll go through Odin's part, practically. And then, of course, I have like other mythology books that I pull from. This one is just a world mythology. And the reason why I have a world mythology book is because when I'm drawing these myths, I like to go, oh yeah, this resembles a story like, wait, what's that god? Oh yeah, let me look. And then I can look it up, right? Dragons and serpents are portrayed through almost all religions in some form. I think nearly, yeah, so many. Even in Norse mythology, there's a serpent that wraps around the world tree, right? There's all kinds of things in here, but definitely have a vast variety of different mythologies to study from, and one book is good. So you can already see kind of how I'm doing this, right? This is how I study. I pull books. I do lots of documentaries as well when I'm driving. Whenever I'm like chilling, I'll listen to a documentary, or I have a lot of audiobooks. Those are really good too. Audiobooks are great because you can get like professional professors and scholars teach you firsthand in the great courses, or some kind of book series on audio, or if you want to read it, is there, and that will just give you a plethora of college material or university material that may be overlooked through YouTube videos or something, you know. Okay, and then let's go into my technique style. This is my favorite book, one of them. I have a book by Fortuny, Maria Fortuny. He is a Spanish artist, brilliant artist. When I was in Barcelona, I went to the museum there, art museum, and Fortuny's piece is like gloriously large battle scene. And it was the first time I saw a piece. I almost, I didn't cry. I think I got emotional because I felt how much effort that artist put into that. And I was like, whoa, I respect you. I respect you. Uh, Gustave Doré. I don't know actually. I don't know if it's Doré or Doré. Anyways, marvelous ink artist. He is my, I think he's a lot of our role model for art. Like he is magical in every possible way. Look at this thing. And they said, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. Genesis 11:4. He drew off of that one verse, he drew this image. And what's kind of interesting is when I was younger in church, I used to draw things like this, but they were like more of like the, kind of, I guess, scariest of angels and demons fighting. And the church actually got mad at me for having these kind of drawings where they made me throw them away or whatever stuff. Anyways, that was a long time ago. Different type of church back then. But when I was trying to draw was when I read the Bible verses like this, one verse, I saw a whole world image come together, right, in my head. And I was like, I want to draw this. I wanted to draw this exact thing. So I wanted mine crumbling and a few other people like fires and stuff. But in the sense, I would love to have created this for every single Bible verse in the Bible, right? You have these emotional attachments of art to one verse because there's a lot in each verse. I think that's where religious people do a marvelous thing, right? They take their ancient text and they'll take one line and they'll look into that one line 1,000 different ways and they'll find hope in it somehow or find some kind of reason or a construct to help their personal life out, right? And understanding the vastness of the world and kind of thing. I love that. That's brilliant. And I wanted to draw that. But Gustave has beaten me to it, which is crazy because how old you must have, like, what did he do? One of these pages a day? He had no social life? I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. If I literally started from today to draw all of these, this is only the Bible. He did other stuff, tons of other stuff. If I just did this for the rest of my life, I wouldn't finish this. So I don't even understand. Was he a machine? Was he a god himself of ink? Oh my. Guys, come on. Come on. This line work is beautiful. He's going left here, up and down, separation. Got his lines here to do all of this. He leaves a little bit of white kind of spacing in between so there's separation too. It doesn't do it in here because there's a lot of contrast and darkness from the shadows. My goodness, if I had this skill set, but I don't want to recreate what he's recreated. Well, I mean, I guess I kind of do in a way, but this is my inspiration. If you're looking for inspiration, Gustave Doré is who I get mine from. I recommend you studying his stuff as well. If you like the ink work that I do, of course. But this isn't to say that you shouldn't study other art. Let's see, when I was shopping around last year, I went to some cons and some conventions and stuff like that, comic book stores. There was one, Danny Mickey and David Finch are some artists that I really appreciate. David Finch is a great artist. He has some books he does, Sunday Night Draws, I think it was. And then Danny Mickey was over here in LA doing signings at a small comic book store I go to right down the road. So I was like, crazy cool. Got this piece. But the reason why I got this piece was because this is a collab, right? You have a penciler and you have an inker. And I've never worked with somebody except for my very good friend who we have a card game with a different company called I Am Champion. Definitely check it out. But anyways, he's an artist as well. And his style, he's just a fantastic kind of gritty artist who really shows this kind of character in each line. So him and I have worked on penciling and inking together since we were growing up. But that's why I got this, is because it reminded me that I'm not perfect. That my perfections will not cover everything. And that having other people come in and add their flair, add their ink work, or add their little design elements, and put themselves into, whether I like it or not actually, is kind of nice, because at the end of the day, whether I wanted it to look one way or the other, it's the viewer, the person who's going to purchase it or enjoy it, that gets to create something out of it. So if you have two people putting in their efforts, whether or not us two agree on what it should look like, this third person is going to be like, dude, that's cool, right? And then we get to look back and go, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. And that's something I need to work on personally, is to work with other artists with much more ease and less control and stuff like that. As I'm trying to build my style, I think I've aimed for a lot of control to have it fixed. But having released my control, I found far more benefits. And maybe you will too. Do you have a friend that likes to draw and you want to work with? Have fun. It's fun to let loose a little bit and not care so much about your art, because then in that process you have fun and you learn something. But definitely pick up other people's art and study their art, because we are artists and we're meant to share. Now, in last 2025, I got that and 2 comic books, one from my wife and one from myself. But here's an Eastman and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book original. My wife got me this. I'm deeply in love with this. It is so much fun because it reminds me of when I was a kid and I was drawing like this. But look how much effort they put into the markers and the coloring of everything. It just reminds me of when I was in school as a kid, and I don't want to lose this feeling. This is the feeling I don't want to lose as an artist in 2026. In 2026, my heart's going to be here. Now, my technique and style will be hopefully more Gustave, or this other comic book right here, which is Weapon X Wolverine. Now this bad boy, this is my history. If you want to know a little bit about Josh Lamb, when I was in the 2nd grade, I think it was 3rd grade, 2nd grade, don't remember exactly, I drew this cover without the background, just her and him on this big manila piece of paper, because back then in school, kids had manila paper, right? Manila. I hated that paper too. It was just soft and like it had texture in the weirdest way, and like you could rub stuff off of it too easy. I don't know why they gave it to us. Anywho, I drew it on that, and I drew it, I think, very, very similar, very close. Now there's probably obviously a lot more detail in this, but I remember as a little kid working in my room on the floor, just making sure it's perfect. And one day, I think there was a moment I went into my room and I tore up all my art pieces as a kid, you know. And this was one of them. It haunted me until this year, 2025. It did actually haunted me because I really don't know. I haven't processed why that one image, because when I tore it up, I remember ripping it. And I think it's because I put so much effort as a kid. It was grand to me. And visually, it looks almost identical in my head, but I know there's no way I drew this good. But I think I drew similar. Anyways, I got this because it was going to help me boost my encouragement of drawing and remind me of who I am as an artist. I don't know if you struggle with who you are as an artist. You might not. I feel like I struggle with it a lot because I have a projection of an idea of who I want to be as an artist, and I have a reality check of what I am actually capable of doing, talent-wise, or skill-wise, and then time-wise. You know, I'm older now. I don't have time to be the youthful man and just throw all my creativity into something and ignore the day and my friends. No, I have obligations like a lot of us older people do, and in that, I want to make sure I'm doing the right path and not wasting time other ways, because, you know, life is short, and I want to make sure I have fun doing the art that I like to do and not the art that I have been tricked to do by social media. You know what I mean? Now, we talked about kind of like where I pull my information from and where I get my drawing techniques from. Now let's get into my actual art pieces. Okay, let's get into the drawings that I started drawing. Now, if you saw my video, there was like a 5 to 6 month hiatus where I didn't post anything. This was due to life things, you know. So once I was able to get back and start posting and drawing, I haven't really got back onto live streams, but I'll get there. I started posting these gods, and this is really fun to do. So I started studying Zues, and Zues here is, we all know Zues, don't need to go over it. If you want to see the full drawing, I'll leave the card right here so you can click on to go to, or link down below. But he was very fun. He was actually a practice from the Gustave Doré style, kind of doing these horizontal lines and building depth within it. That's very fun to do. He came out great. And then I went to Aphrodite, someone kind of innocent, but attractive, someone luring, someone you couldn't say no to in any way possible. This was Aphrodite. She was also an extension of very clean lines, like Zues was in Gustave's style. Also played with some dots and point drawing, fine lines and stuff like that. In which I'll get to the tools later in the video, but if you want to jump to that part, I get to that after all of these. Then we went to Kronos, you know, the giants. And I wanted something, the father of these guys, and of Zeus. And, you know, like, I think there was a take on the giant being a little bit more clean, of course, like more human-like. I wanted a monster. I wanted this grotesque thing. I was kind of tired of just drawing the normal. So I went with similar, more of a, these lines are more of a Bernie Wrightson style. They're kind of all over, but they build depth and they kind of have a lot of playfulness to them, but still very structured. And I did 2 pieces because I just wanted to do a close-up and do this, kind of build a theme. I enjoyed this one. This was actually very fun because there's so much freedom creating this monstrous, because he eats his children, right? And, well, if you need to know the history, watch that video. Link is there. But I like them. Yeah, Kronos. Hungry God. Then we went to Asherah. This is actually an older drawing that it just took me a while to finish and clean up and make a video about. A very small piece, but one that I really enjoy. I like doing these pieces because they look like they've been torn out of an actual ancient textbook, and that was the vibe I was going for. You know, like I discovered Asherah and I drew her from this temple in a realistic way, but then all these different artifacts kind of represent her, and she has this, you know, just different things that kind of build into her world of who she is. Watch that video, it's very fun. But she's cool, she's cool. Okay, early in the years, some collaborators and artists on Instagram asked me to join in drawing a page for this curing cancer for kids. And they had an option where I could choose who I wanted to draw from the comic book world. And I chose Iron Man, because I think Iron Man's pretty popular. And then Dr. Doom, of course, since the movie's coming out. And I thought it was a good choice. So I ended up drawing this where I had Iron Man in the middle and different kids and teens and ages fighting against Dr. Doom as Dr. Doom is looming over them in outer space. I didn't draw the outer space because I wanted to do a digital outer space background. So I digitized it, and this is the final result. Not too bad, not too shabby. That looks pretty cool. Okay, so this was fun. The issues with this was, I mean, there's a lot. I was afraid of doing it and being awfully terrible and presenting something worthy for a comic book, especially amongst other artists that are really good and professionals. Ooh, it was terrifying. I did not feel qualified to do this, but gave it my all. I did my best. The metal parts around here were very hard to learn, and I learned the technique of just putting black in these little wavy lines here and there, and it turned out all right, you know, I think so. But this was something I was proud of because it's the first time I got to work with other comic book artists on something, even if it wasn't, like, it's not a paid gig, it was a free volunteer thing. But that was really nice, I like that, and I hope the kids enjoyed it. I hope a kid saw this and was like, yes, you know, yes, I'm one of these Iron Mans. And just taking out Dr. Doom, especially when Dr. Doom movie comes out, Doomsday, they will relate. Their mind will go back to this image. Because when I was a kid, that's kind of how it worked. You know, I related this comic book page with this, you know, cartoon series and all that stuff. Very fun. Then we move into, okay, actually, you're not yet. You'll come back. We have, I think this is Chalchiuhtlicue. I am brutal with her name, and the names of the Mesoamerican gods, I believe. But this one was very fun. I was trying to go with like a more human aspect of a lot of the models and statues of her and representations of her, as well as throwing some kind of the mythology with the serpent and all that. Very fun. Yeah, I mean, the techniques here were just kind of this one was the fastest. I would also, my techniques and lines are not very clean. She's very messy, actually. And some of her proportions aren't correct. Like, that is what is happening here. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, she was fun. Her video's good. Now we have Tlaloc. This is cool because Tlaloc wasn't something I was trying to represent in a more of a human way. I was taking more of a cartoony way, or not cartoony, I guess. Taking a statue and just representing it in a way that was more, I guess, appealing to the statue. Representing all the features of water and lightning and thunder and all that stuff. You can see the video, it's very good too. This was when I was in Mexico City. I enjoyed this one because the memories of me in Mexico City kind of flow into this, where I was sitting in the kitchen starting this drawing after a rainy day. Very nice. I like this one. This one has clean lines, different variety of weighted lines. There's just more depth to it. And the black backdrop always helps. Easy technique to help fill in space. Okay. The Asian deities. Bishamonten. This is a pencil drawing that I did, and I did it pencil because I wanted to practice with these types of pencils. Where they go? Yeah. Oh. Yes. Mars Lumograph black pencils. These are Staedtlers, and they shade wonderfully. And I really enjoy the way they lay on this lead. Definitely recommend if you want to get some dark pencils. These are going to do great. I will show you my other tools later though. Videos up above. This was very fun. Just me getting back to the roots of figuring out what it meant to shade and build depth with a pencil versus the pen. I don't like to lose my skill sets, and I lose them very quickly whenever I stick on like a style or inking. And the same when I go to painting, maybe I'll learn how to do really good oil or something, and then forget how to do watercolor. And it's just so I just try to, you know, touch base every once in a while and see if I can do it, and then where I need it. And plus, it reminds me to practice and warm up and do all these other things that will help my artistic skills. So I highly recommend just playing around with different styles of art. Pencil is always, of course, a must, because your pencil is a reflection of your ink, unless you're just that good at inking, you know. We have here, it doesn't matter if I go out of order. This one here is Shoten-Doji, I believe, and a samurai rain. Oh man, I should have wrote the names. I forgot. I apologize. But yes, this one's a fun technique because I was kind of just winging it. I was just going. I didn't even know what I was creating at first. I know I wanted a samurai, but then it just, man, this thing took a whole different twist. And I was using my new markers, which I got from, I think Michael's or Hobbit. I think it was Michael's because they had some sale. Really great. These are Copics, and they're the gray tones. I highly recommend these. That's what I used on this, and you could just see what it did. It just brought the depth of, you know, this image here from the back. But the problem is with this, though, it's very blue. I don't like how blue it is. It feels blue, at least. But I do like this. I was going with a few styles here. I was mixing more of a comic book style, but yeah, I like the way this one came out. It's all right. Yeah, the video's good. I think I'm a hard critic on my own art because, yeah, Shoten-Doji versus Minamoto no Raiko. Yeah, this one is, you know, I should go easier on myself. But, you know, I think I have expectations of what it should have looked like before. And when I see it again, I guess I find all the flaws again. This one was really good. I loved this one. This video was fun. Learning about the yokai was very fun. She was fun. Deer was fun. All this was fun. This line work was fun to do. I mean, really, I was amazed at this. and the recognition of what I was able to pull off. I actually put this through, I took a photo of this and put this through to color, and I haven't colored it yet, but once I have Procreate, I'm gonna go through and color everything in, and I'm really excited because I like this one. So much fun's going on here. Yeah, like these two turtle guys, these are kind of the model for Super Mario Brothers, those turtles that you smash on the head and move on and kick out. They all come from the yokai and stuff. Actually, Kami and the yokai. Yes. I enjoyed it. Not a bad piece. Okay, now on to Mr. Hades. Now Hades was fun. He was stressful. I didn't know how to put this god on the page and represent him in a different way than him being the god of the underworld and cruel or scary or something like that. Or not even scary, just someone dark or demented. I wanted him to be more kingly. Because the underworld for the mythology here is not somewhere scary. It's just this vast space of emptiness, right, and void in a sense. But yeah, how do you put that on paper, and how do I draw that in a unique way? He was kind of the guiding light for these people, and going in, you know, sailing, and then you got the Cerberus, or this dog creature here. How did I represent it? I think I really enjoyed this one when it came out because of the stress it gave me. I was able to creatively start blending different styles and just really going at it. I didn't know it was going to turn out like this, actually, and I'm happy. I'm happy with the way it came out. I think this could have been a little better. He's too pig-nosed like style, but other than that, I think it was good. Yeah. Now you can watch a video on this one too. Okay. This one is the year's success. My favorite of the year, the most difficult one of the year. This one took me 3 years to finish because I was so afraid of touching the skin. I had worked so hard on everything else, the face and the hair here and the face. I didn't want to mess it up, you know. Like if I mess up, I mess up. Like I didn't, you know, I didn't know what to do. So I psyched myself out, and for a year and a half didn't touch it. And then this year, I finally said, just do it, and I did it. And I'm very happy with what it came out to be. I have to say, the way the proportions are and the perspective is kind of pulling away in this one, it's not fully accurate. In fact, it's not accurate. But what it does is tell the story. And that's what I wanted. It kind of, this was my attempt at Gustave's Bible representation, because this was a passage from when Delilah was, you know, tempting Samson to, you know, figure out what his strength was so that the Philistines would come in and do their job. Beautiful story. Delilah, she got paid some money. She did her duty. This is really cool stuff. But then, you know, this was actually a drawing. The reason why I drew it like this was the focus was her, is because Samson's always the focus of the story when it goes to a biblical teaching and this kind of mythology and stuff. I think my focus is on Delilah, because Delilah, I'm curious. You knew this strong man who was a totally different tribe, and he was going around just picking and choosing women as he pleases, and his last woman died because of him, and now he's over here hunting for a new wife, and he finds her very attractive, and the Philistines are like, we'll pay you money, marry the dude, get the deed done, tell us what's happening, how we kill him. And the whole time Samson knows this is kind of going on, because she blatantly says, you know, how do you die, or how do you like lose your strength? Tell me your secret. He tells her a fake lie. She tells the Philistines to come in, and then he breaks free. And then you think the next day he's like, oh wait, what happened yesterday? No, he knows, you know. But then again, you know, this is kind of a show. The story is kind of showing how a man is driven by lust more than he's by logic and what's going to happen, and he'll give anything for a woman. So in which he did. But then the story kind of leaves her, after he gets captured, she's kind of gone. What did she do with the money? Did she get paid? What kind of person was she? how beautiful was she that he stayed with her and allowed it? And was she amongst the thousands of Philistines that died when he took down the temple? So this has a lot of story to it. I love it. Let's move on. But this is my prize for the year, just because how much love I put into it, right? The Mexico one too. This one, okay. This one, Kukulkan, was also another tough one, but also a favorite because I was going to do him as dragon almost. But then I thought, how cool would it be if I just had like this stars and like him sitting down on this throne thing about to go do this. But it wasn't him, it was the person playing him in a, the ritual, when they put on the mask and the helmets and all the dress wear and everything, and they're getting to go do this like sacrifice or something. I wanted that person to be the representation of the drawing, not the actual God himself. Because I think, because he's the top God, in a sense, or the most popular, I felt that who is he amongst the people? And who would be the person who would take the biggest weight of who that God was to the people? And that'd be the person who has to dress up and act like that God in some form of ritual way. And that's what I put here. Kind of looks like he's on the toilet, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe he was. Maybe he's just like, hey, I'm ready. I gotta go out there and do my job. All right. Okay. Oh, yes. Hermes. This was cool. I exaggerated the wings. Obviously, he's got too big wings on his feet and the staff, and he's going through a portal and in space and to deliver a message and do all this stuff. What can I say? It was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because I get to play with all kinds of different ideas in one and still put enough information that represents the actual story. You should watch the video. Very cool. He was great. Ooh, yes. Sir Koats. Great guy. Really cool. He was down in this dungeon, and he's one of he's just a normal NPC player in a dungeon. But then he realizes, he wakes up one day and he was like, hey, if I steal all these leftover weapons that these outside user players come in and drop off because they don't make it to the dungeons, what if I can get out? So his story is about an NPC dungeon character trying to make its way out through the entrance in hopes to have their life again, and in the process picking up every sword along the way. So, Knight of 1,000 Swords, Sir Koats. Very fun. Watch the video. I like this guy. All right, so these are some of the drawings that I enjoyed. I really had fun with. It's not that many. I know, because there's some people I'm watching, they put out a piece a day, and that's 300 pieces. This is probably like 20. So I feel bad that I didn't put out this much art this year, but this last year was kind of rough. This new year coming up, 2026, will be a challenge, I'm sure. There's no way around it. But I'm very thankful that all of you guys have actually supported my videos and watched my videos. It really means a lot. I apologize that I haven't been doing live streams and putting out content as much as you may prefer. But I'm getting there and I'm trying. But I want to thank you. I really do. I really want to thank you. What can I say? You guys give me so much encouragement, and I know I get a lot of stuff wrong. My goodness. Sometimes I'm confused what I say too. But I thank you, and I want to give you some good art and show you fun stuff and be a part of a community of artists, because you guys are all amazing. Okay, now on to tools and what I use this year to kind of like get my drawings done and what I've changed and stuff. Tape, of course, to put down the paper so it doesn't wrinkle up. Pencil's going to be the Aletta Art Supply. Also, there's a Staedtler one as well, but it's a mechanical pencil, and you just refill these leads with different sizes and weights that you want. Like this one's a 2H, I think it is, or maybe it's an HB that's in here right now. But this is my pre-sketch. This is like my invisible sketches, I would say, like something that you wouldn't see in the first time, block forms, proportions, and stuff of the nature. Then there's also these Mars Lumograph dark pencils, which I explained before. Really good for drawing. Bishamonten was one that I drew in these and utilized, and these are great. Really good. Okay, for pen, oh no, okay. And then I switched over to these Black Wings. Now these guys here are interesting because I found these at some store, but they draw smooth and soft, and they have a little eraser, which is really great on it. It's nice wood, it's nice weight, it's an expensive pencil, but if you like to draw in a sketchbook and feel something thick and go these really, really broad lines, this black wing is going to give you something like that. It feels good. It's a good pencil. They have different styles and weights. Go check it out. Okay, now onto pens. Molotow black liners. This pen here is going to be one that I use the most because it's just a simple felt tip pen that draws and does whatever I need. It's mostly, the lines are nice and black, fantastic. I use a Copic multiliner, 0.03, very small, very, very tiny. This thing's like beep, but you gotta be delicate with it because you bend that felt tip, it's lame. A Molotow black liner also has a brush tip, which I've been using. This is nice. But then I was like, you know what? I saw an artist do another brush tip, and they were using this zebra Japanese brush tip, hard fine tip. And this is a game changer. This is my favorite pen now forever. I think I'm gonna buy 100 of these because it draws beautifully, thick and thin lines. It lasts really well. The shading is great. It's just perfect. It is a perfect pen. It feels a little bit heavier. It would have been great, but I highly recommend this. I got this on Amazon. You can get it anywhere, I think. Okay, and then I have like the markers. I have been using Posca markers, as well as, you know, these Copic ones for gray shading and stuff that I've been just playing with. You know, color and I don't work out too well, but I've been playing with these white ones because I can do splashing in like stars or some kind of liquid or something like that with these. Great. I have a few other brushes I'm planning on practicing and using, kind of like these brush tips for drawing and painting. Two main pens that I use are these two, okay? Now for my eraser, I'm going to be using this right here. I got this off of Amazon as well. But this is just a simple electric eraser. It's great. And speaking of like erasers and stuff and other tools, this eraser here, the putty eraser, the kneaded eraser, is my go-to eraser. This is great. Get yourself one of these. And whenever I'm on traveling though, I'm using just a normal black, normal rubber eraser. Actually, any eraser would work when I'm traveling, honestly. I use the black one because I feel like, I don't know. Honestly, I bet it could be any color. I would have kept it. I just kept it. Pencil sharpeners are always good. I try to get ones with a longer pencil sharpening tip to it, so it's not like a hard, fast pointed tip, but a longer one, so I have more time to use it to blend at an angle. Now, some of my pens, for the fountain tip pen that I use for Samson and Delilah, I use this Dr. Martin's Black Star. And I also used a different one from, I think it was this one, Deleter had one in black. This is a white. I was hoping to have the white effect be able to allow me to draw fine lines, but this is very thick and it did not allow me to do that. Okay, for rulers, I use anything, honestly, but I've been using this like triangle one. I have these around, metal ones, flatter the better. But yeah, I mean, I have a bunch, whatever works, works. So for paper, I switched over and found that Strathmore bristle paper is really nice. It's heavy, it's vellum, you know, surface, so it's got a little bit of texture to it. The reason why I enjoy it because it's sturdy, it's super sturdy. You know, it's not like normal A4 paper. I've been using a lot of A4 and simple, just printing paper for a lot of drawings this year. But this one's what I'm switching over to because not only is it more durable, but I can apply my markers and my paints and stuff and feel like there's a lot more strength here to hold the image together. And I can kind of use it for anything. It absorbs ink well. It absorbs everything well, so it's kind of great. I enjoy this paper, a little pricey, But when you're doing pieces that you care about, at least it gives you more of a reason to work hard to make sure it's something you put effort into, right? But yeah, so this is it. You can get it at your Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Amazon, anywhere. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good paper. I enjoy it. But I will use other textured papers for sure. This isn't the only one, but this is the one that I'm moving towards this year. But I found that very nice. Oh, also, so one of the tools that I forgot to mention was this board. This was a lifesaver. This changed the game. I created this thing because, out of necessity. And what it is a piece of birch, right? I think it's birch. And I stained it and I coated it with some gloss and I sanded it and did it over and over. I put this little image of this Korean artist on here. But what this is a sturdy board, light. Light is key because I want to put it in my backpack, but I don't want it to break. And what did I just do? Okay, and I have these coated pieces of wax paper in here to protect the pages when I draw them, if they're ink and stuff. But as you can see, I still haven't finished this page. But they hold my paper in and give me room to draw, and it keeps it flat and protected when I travel. And I can draw on anything because it's solid. It ain't bending, it's great. And I recommend go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, grab one piece of birch wood, measure it out, cut it, and you have two pieces. I made one for an A4 and one for my larger 11 by 17s or something of that nature. And these are just lifesavers because I can put my drawing on there. I can spin this around on the table. If I have it to the table, sometimes I have to tape it to the table and I can't move. Spend a little bit of time having fun, create your own drawing board. I really like this. It took, I think it was about like $30 in total with the stain and the wood, duct tape. The duct tape, you can do a different way. I just did duct tape because, well, I don't know. It was the easiest thing to me and whatever. I just need this thing to kind of fold perfectly and be great. But yeah, you can probably spend less, get better wood too, do different things, engrave it, I don't know. But a great tool. Okay, that was it. That was pretty much everything I wanted to show you from 2025, the drawings and kind of what I thought of them, as well as the tools that I use and things I'll be using going forward in this year. Now, 2026 is going to be, I'm hopefully going to do a lot more live streams. I'm going to do a lot more posting. I'll do more tutorial videos as well. My style is a little bit different from others, and I don't know if it's applicable to many people, honestly. But I've been trying to throw out my techniques out there, and hopefully you'll enjoy the ones that I do give. Yeah, but as I move forward with all the different gods, I will also be including a lot of biblical stuff, because I do a lot of biblical studies, and I enjoy all the stories in that book, the collection of them. And hopefully you'll enjoy them too, because I want to bring a little bit of different perspective on those stories and bring to life things that are more familiar to people who understand that world, but also really diving into all the other mythologies and gods that I can draw. That is just by far my favorite thing to do. If you have any suggestions, hey, leave them down below in the comments. I would love to see what gods you want me to draw, and maybe I'll get to it right away. Maybe I'll get to it soon enough, who knows? But I'll definitely get to it. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notification button. Hype the video if you can. Also, yeah, I hope that if you have a pencil and paper and a pen, or if you're an artist of any kind and you want to draw, that you go ahead and draw. You take the freedom to draw and create the thing that you want to create. Because, hey, you're a creative, so go create.